Hi everyone, Steve Tober with Dennis Jones. High school girls basketball 2010-2011. You talk about the statewide scene, Dennis. You begin in Monmouth County. 4 of the top 6 ranked teams in the current statewide ranking, all from Monmouth County, beginning with reigning Tournament of Champions winner Neptune.
Absolutely. You got to mention Monmouth County, but you can't forget about the Shore Conference, and as well as Bergen. I bet the top 20 is all spread out, Steve. We got it covered pretty much all around the state of New Jersey.
It always begins and ends, though, Dennis. It seems to be up in Essex County in the Brick City with Shabazz. When you talk about Vanessa Watson's team, which has been a fixture for the last 2 decades, and then some, winning a share of tournament champion titles. And here's a team certainly that's going to be in the mix at the end again, reigning Group 2 champion.
Well, you said it, Steve. We're talking about Shabazz. They're starting off 12-0, and they're doing it mostly because of their great play from their sophomore guard, Alicia Lovett. Let's take a look at some of her highlights, Steve. Alicia, verbally committed to Cincinnati, very athletic, impressive speed. First things that come to mind, she's excellent on ball fakes and jab steps to create her own opportunities, and she has the physical skills to finish in traffic, Steve. Against East Orange, Lovett scored a game-high 19 points, including 3 from 6 for downtown to lead Shabazz to a 50-40 win. She's a huge reason why this young Shabazz team is 12-0.
Aaliyah Hanford, though, the 5'9" junior all-state guard. She's a real go-to girl, though, for Watson and company. You talk about with Lovett or Hanford, I mean, you can't miss when you have those 2 girls down, either down low or on the perimeter.
Oh, man, she was tremendous in the Newark Public Schools tourney final against University. 14 of her 20 points in the final 8 minutes of that game, and they were trailing by 7. They ended up winning that game, by the way. She's shooting 55% from the floor and averaging 14.5 points per game. Her versatility makes her tough to defend. She can post up almost anybody.
Dennis, what about always the youth factor? It seems like Shabazz always has a freshman to watch. We talk about Zaire O'Neal, MVP in the Dan Finn Classic with the win over St. Peter's of New York. I mean, there's another youngster coming up in the Shabazz system.
Oh, absolutely, and it's a tribute to Vanessa Watson, the coaching. I mean, they always have, like you said, a stable of young talent coming up, and Zaire is no different.
Well, let's move down to the Monmouth County area. We talked about those top teams in the state, and let's talk about Neptune. And you can only begin with that great Rutgers-bound backcourt that they have, Dennis. I mean, that 1-2 punch is unparalleled.
I mean, it's tremendous. I mean, this is the most experienced team in the state. Like you mentioned, Syessence Davis, Shakina Richardson, and China Golden, all seniors, and all with verbal commits to D1 schools. You mentioned the 2 Rutgers pair, and China Golden already verbally committed to Pitt. But when you talk about Syessence Davis, strong, explosive, and quick are all words that come to mind. She's best when she goes to the rim with the ball. She can score over opposing teams' bigs, so that makes her really tough to defend. She's got a decent outside shot, and I could see her playing some off guard at the next level at Rutgers as well.
Shakina Richardson, 5'5" point guard, Dennis. Shore Conference, Group 3, Tournament of Champions MVP last year. What a great finesse player, what a great penetrator, what a great playmaker. The 5'5" point guard, Richardson, she's really a dynamo.
I mean, a true point guard. You know, she's got the explosive speed, the ability to change directions on a dime. Defenders are often left lunging when they try to defend her. She beats you off the dribble every time. You can't back her off either. And she has that outside touch to make you pay as well. Davis and Richardson, also childhood friends. They were recruited together to go to Rutgers with Vivian Stringer.
Yeah, see, Vivian Stringer will enjoy having that backcourt for years to come. And you talk about China Golden, 6'2" player going to Pitt. I mean, there's the interior presence. You don't have to stay in the perimeter all the time with that great backcourt. You can go inside to the 6'2" girl inside.
And I think she improved her game a lot since last year. She learned some post-up moves. She's added a baseline jumper as well to her game. She learned to run the floor well. I think you have to when you play with Davis and Richardson.
Another team at the shore, Dennis, Red Bank Catholic. You go back to the 90s, Joe Montano's teams that were just out of this world. The Casey's just dominated to such an extent. Of course, they also have St. John Vianney up the road. But Red Bank Catholic, again, another super team.
Very good team here at Red Bank Catholic. They're led by Samantha Gustella, the 6-foot senior. You know, she's already verbally signed to Quinnipiac. Gustella, she's tall. She provides the interior presence as well to complement a very good three-point shooting team. She's also a great defender and a shot blocker. Against St. Rose, she was a force with 18 points, and Samantha Clark played her very well. St. Rose won the game by 1, but Gustella held Clark to just 8 points in that game. She's a great defender.
I think Stella averaged a double-double last year. And talking about Morgan Arnott, another fine player as well. I mean, she's another girl, number 23 on your screen, who really does a nice job.
Yeah, you can almost call Arnott the player no one really knows about, the best player no one knows about. You know, she's emerging right now as not much of a scorer, but a solid defender as well. You know, she could be used as a closer down the stretch for this team. Also, Casey Hobby is very good in that position as well.
Let's go from Red Bank Catholic down to another Monmouth County team, maybe not heard about as much as the RBCs and the Viennes and the Neptunes, but Tom Brennan's Middletown South team could be a challenger in Group 3, Dennis, and a team that's certainly on the rise.
When I think of Middletown South, the first player I think of is Megan McGinnis. The senior at 5'10", outstanding player, one of the best in the Shore Conference. She's committed to Niagara University in the fall. You know, injuries to this team forced her to play a lot. Tom Brennan, like you mentioned, he relied heavily on McGinnis, but she delivered, and she doesn't mind that at all. You know, she took full advantage of her opportunities there. She's completely healed from that early ankle injury that had her hobbled a little bit. And she tossed in 16 points in a recent loss to Red Bank Catholic. But she's a potential player of the year candidate.
Well, let's go up to the St. John Vianney. Now, here's a team, when you look at the 90s, they won basically every odd year in the 90s at TFC, and they continue to do it under Dawn Carpel. And you talk about a team with all the players going to college. Katie O'Reilly going to my alma mater, Lehigh. They've got some players going to great academic institutions, and they're a well-balanced team, St. John Vianney is.
Yeah, what about Jackie Cage? She's already signed to University of Penn, widely considered the coach on the floor, you know, for St. John's Vianney. There isn't many better at setting up teammates with quick passes. She's a great decision maker in transition as well. The success of all the stars from St. John's Vianney can really be attributed to Cates in a lot of ways.
What do you think of non-public A? Vianney appears to be the favorite. Well, there's going to be some competition, maybe Immaculate Heart up from the north. It's going to be an interesting run, though, but Vianney certainly would be the favorite again.
I would say Vianney's the favorite in that position. They're more experienced than anyone in that group.
And here's another team we can talk about from Middlesex County. Again, not ranked, but a great recent history. You talk about Piscataway. And here's a team that has some great individual play and a great program as well.
And, well, the junior, you know, Denaja Grant, the 5'9" guard, set a new hoop group record with 29 points against St. John Vianney. Extremely quick, athletic. Grant can score on the perimeter or off the dribble. She's a strong ball handler. She keeps defenders on their heels at all times. Her potential is sky high, which has a lot of schools lined up for her services. Remember, against Perth Amboy, she scored a career-high 36 points and 15 rebounds. Grant's a tremendous talent.
Yeah, that's a great program, Piscataway, both the boys and the girls through the years. Maybe not top 20 caliber now, but always watch out for Piscataway come state tournament time. Well, let's move back down to Monmouth County, Dennis, and a team that's certainly rising in the ranks of non-public B, wants to put a challenge into Trenton Catholic, which has won 3 of the last 4 non-public Bs. We're talking about St. Rose, a little school that's really on the rise.
Yeah, this school can make some noise. You get three juniors on this team right now really making some noise. I would start with Diana Malanga, the junior, the 5'7" junior. Excellent penetrator off the dribble. Yeah, she's the spark plug in a recent one-point winner that you mentioned over Red Bank Catholic. Malanga hit for 15 points in that game for St. Rose, and they're ranked number 4 in the state and 10-0 on the season.
Yeah, St. Rose, certainly a team to watch. They're going to sneak up on a lot of people. They're not really sneak up on anybody in the statewide rankings. They're right up there. They were number 4 recently in a statewide top 20, but definitely a team to watch. And Dennis, we'll go back to Monmouth County again. You talk about it, one of the prettiest towns in all of New Jersey, the home of Geraldo Rivera, Bruce Springsteen at different times in their lives. You talk about Rumson Fairhaven. And the coach there, I don't know if he hangs out with Geraldo and Bruce, but George Sorlis has done a tremendous job and more than 2 decades of coaching Rumson Fairhaven. Some great talent through the years. He's always been a great challenge to RBC and St. John Vianney in the Monmouth County area. And he also has a great team once again.
Well, you know, Victoria Lesko, the senior, the 6'3" senior for Rumson Fairhaven, already signed to Boston College. She's the reason why this team can go. You know, she missed her entire sophomore season with that foot injury, but returned as a starter for that Bulldog team. They went 21-7 and won the Class A Central Public title and reached the Shore Conference Tournament quarterfinals last season.
And Ashley Cooper, a 5'10" senior guard, another fine player for Rumson. And we spent a lot of time in Monmouth County, and rightly so. But let's move up north to Essex County, Dennis, a team we might have to watch for in Group 4, East Orange Campus. This is a team that might be a challenge to Shabazz in the Essex County tournament, but they have certainly some sights set on winning a state title this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's mention a couple of their players. You know, they recently had a game against Shabazz that they did not win, but there were some outstanding performances and some things that we need to pay attention to with East Orange. Tiana Muldrow, triple-double against Orange High School, 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 steals. She's dynamite. Also, Delisha Thompson, Shayla Johnson, and Linda Hamilton. You know, with this kind of a core, East Orange can really make some damage. As you mentioned, they could challenge Shabazz.
Yeah, I think it's Shabazz, University, East Orange. We'll talk more about Essex County in a moment, but let's stay in North Jersey, but up to Morris County, and a great game recently, Morris Catholic and Chatham. You talk about two incredibly well-coached teams and also very talented.
Yeah, made the trip up to Denville to Morris Catholic High School for a battle of undefeateds. Morris Catholic coming at 9-0, and Chatham was 9-0 as well. Chatham played without Amanda Bernstein. This is her first ever career game miss, and she's a junior. 73 straight games. She missed it with the flu. I saw her warming up before the game. She tried to make it a go, but she couldn't. You know, Chatham lost that game by 10 points, but really fought hard. Kelsey Hart scored 20 points, a game-high 20 points in that game, and they lost for Chatham. But Morris Catholic was dynamite. Jessica Parada with 18 points. Devin D'Amico, she played excellent on defense and held most of the team in check for most of the night. And Danny Brown had 14 points. Morris Catholic is still undefeated, and they're making a lot of noise in Morris County.
Jean Drury, a very good three-point shooter for Morris Catholic, who's coached by Richie Fauché, who's a longtime coach. Coached at Irvington with the boys, coached at Parsippany Hills with Johnny Morant, some great teams at Par Hills in the late 90s, and also coached at Montclair Immaculate way back when. So he's been around the block, Richie Fauché, and he'll never tell us his age, but he's 39 years old, going on who knows what. But he does a great job, whether he's coaching boys or girls, and he's got Morris Catholic really where he wants them, and they're playing a great precision offense.
Oh, yeah, Jury's an excellent softball player as well. I think she's committed to Pacer, ready to play softball. Yeah, just an excellent athlete all around.
And Joe Gaba at Chatham runs a great dribble drive system. Bernstein, I happened to see Chatham the last couple section finals against West Essex, which they won both of them.
That's right.
And they had a great club. And they graduated some of those players, but he continues to put out tremendous teams that run their stuff with real precision.
Absolutely. The Morris County tournament's coming up. Seedings are coming up this weekend, so it'll be interesting to see where they place Morris Catholic over Chatham and see if they still keep that #1 seed.
How do you see teams, Dennis, will stay in Morris County, teams like Jefferson, West Morris, fitting in with the Chathams and Morris Catholics and the MCT girls?
It's going to be a fight for that first two top seeds. West Morris is excellent. Shayna Erickson. Jefferson is even 8-1. High Point is undefeated. So there's going to be a lot of arranging in terms of the seeding there. But I still think Morris Catholic deserves that #1 seed, beating Chatham. Even without Amanda Bernstein, you might want to put an asterisk there. But they beat them. They deserve the #1 seed.
How about some sleepers like Hanover Park, Pequannock, teams like that?
Yeah, Pequannock you definitely can't sleep on. Tabachman is excellent. I think that she will keep them in the game, but you never know. It's going to be a wide open field. I think we already mentioned the top 5 teams, though, in Morris County.
Essex County, you have to begin with Shabazz, the perennial champion. University, again, another strong club. We'll have to see how they fit in the whole picture, but again, maybe not the schedule, independently that Shabazz plays certainly, but it's certainly a dangerous team.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think when you talk about schedule, strength of schedule, and who's going to advance because of that, you can't even include University in that class. However, they'll be tough in that Essex County tournament. They'll be tough. They'll be a tough out.
I'll be interested to see how teams like West Essex, Tom Kenny's team, who suffered their first loss after 10 wins to start the season, how they're going to fit in, because West Essex has had a great tradition. They've been in the last 2 sectional finals. They had to reload a bit this year after graduating 2 1,000-point scores. Yet Tom Kenny had him off to a quick start. Mount St. Dominic is under 500, which is an anomaly. We haven't seen that in years. Jerry Aquino, really one of the top girls coaches in North Jersey at Mount St. Dominic. But West Essex in the mix. And you have to think, who would ever thought Montclair would have 1 or 2 wins at this point in the season? They got a couple of wins, and they got double-digit losses, so they're out of the mix. So it's a little different look in Essex County this year, but you still have the big 2,
That's right.
Shabazz University and East Orange. I know a team you're familiar with, and they're really on the rise. It's probably going to be those 3. Columbia is another team that's hard to get a handle on. Joanna's right team graduated a bunch of players. A couple others transferred. So it's going to be tough to get a handle on the Cougars as well.
Yeah, pretty much. I think you've pretty much covered Essex County. That's how it's going to shape out. So we'll see. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff to come in the next couple of days. Seedings this weekend.
Dennis, well, let's look down the road, past the county tournaments, the group state tournaments. I mean, Neptune in Group 3, with that dynamic backcourt and the talent they have, they got to be the favorite. Do you see anybody else in Group 3 making a challenge?
Not out of that group. Maybe St. John Vianney and the non-publics and stuff like that, but you won't see anyone challenge Neptune.
Can East Orange challenge North Hunterdon in Group 4? That's another group that's North Hunterdon plays such a patented,
Yes.
a very disciplined style, East Orange, a little more of a power game, and up and down the court. That's going to be an interesting contrast if those two would ever meet.
Yeah, I think that would be probably the best game in that group.
And how about Group 2? I mean, Shabazz, certainly the team. Then you got teams like Rumson down the shore.
Well, you know, Rumson, it could be the team to challenge Shabazz in that group. When you're talking about state finals, and that would be one of the more interesting games in that group.
Group 1, University, again from the Brick City, much like Shabazz in Group 2, they have to be considered a favorite. Then you have these finesse teams, for instance, like a New Providence from Union County that's had good state tournament success. There's some good teams, small teams up in Bergen County as well, but it's going to be University would have to be the favorite.
Oh, absolutely. Then you got Teaneck is also at 8-1, and there's going to be a couple of teams around that area in that same section that could challenge.
Yeah, Teaneck in Group 3 could actually certainly make
Right.
make a run at it. Non-public A, we both think St. John Vianney, and non-public B, Trenton Catholic or St. Rose. I mean, that's going to be interesting down the road. Either one of those two teams, I think, are going to be the teams to beat.
I like St. Rose. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah, how do you see Morris Catholic fitting in at all in terms of making a run?
Well, you know, I definitely think they'll make a run. I don't know if they're that strong. You know, they won a game over a short Chatham team. So, you know, let's see if they can do it on the big stage.
How would you assess the talent level at Hull in New Jersey high school girls basketball? It looks to be a high level.
Oh, you have to be impressed. I mean, if you look in the tri-state, 9 of the top 20 teams in the tri-state are all from New Jersey. So a lot of talent right here. It's exciting to go watch. I encourage anyone out there to go check one of these high-quality girls' games. You'll be impressed with the level of basketball.
Well, Dennis, plenty of basketball left. We're only not quite halfway through the season. Just about to get into county tournaments, state tournaments down the line. Enjoy your high school girls basketball. For Dennis Jones, I'm Steve Tober, and always continue to log on at NJ Hotshots and Sideline Chatter. Thanks for logging on.